Up to now, your baby has been getting everything they need nutritionally from breast milk or formula milk, but they're now reaching the stage where milk alone is not enough. The process of moving your baby from milk only to solid foods is called weaning, and there are several stages to it. Continued breastfeeding is recommended along with the introduction of complementary feeding. Infant formula or follow-on formula may be used in addition to or instead of breast milk. So how do you know when your baby is ready to be weaned? All babies are different, and what's right for one may not be right for another, but it's usually somewhere between the age of 4 and 6 months. If your baby is showing signs of hunger shortly after a good milk feed, or they're sucking their thumb or fist and seem to be interested in people when they're eating, they may be trying to tell you something. To begin with, it's best to use a soft plastic spoon that's relatively flat so that your baby can easily suck the food off it without hurting their mouth. A plastic bowl is best too, as eventually you'll be letting your baby feed themselves, and you probably don't want your best china being thrown around the kitchen. You'll need to sterilise your feeding equipment too, and a good supply of bibs is essential. Rome wasn't built in a day, and there's really no rush here. Your baby now has to learn a totally new technique to get their food, sucking solid food from a spoon rather than milk from a nipple or teat. Don't worry if they seem to be spitting most of it out at first. This is simply their tongue reflex adjusting to moving foods forwards and backwards in their mouth to swallow. They'll get better at it soon enough. It's best to start with smooth purees, made with a single food that won't overpower your baby's taste buds. As babies have a natural preference for sweeter tastes early on in weaning, things like sweet potato and carrot are good first tastes, as are fruits such as cooked pear and apple. Start with a spoon or two and increase the quantity slowly. It's also common to start weaning by mixing baby rice with your baby's usual milk so that they get used to a new texture in combination with a familiar taste. Babies' appetites can change throughout the day, and it's best not to try this for the first time when your baby is really hungry, as they just won't have the patience. You'll be using tiny quantities at this stage, so if you want to avoid wasting anything, you can make up batches and freeze what you don't need in ice cube trays. You can also buy ready-to-use baby foods, specially designed for when you first start weaning. Just make sure you've got the right one for your baby's stage, one that is perfectly smooth with no lumps, a consistency comparable with that of tomato ketchup. After a few weeks, your baby will be getting used to sucking their food from a spoon, and you can increase the range of foods you give them. It's a good idea to expose your baby to as many different flavours as you can now to develop their tastes. It's recommended that you introduce new tastes one at a time so that your baby gets to know the taste of each food.